What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. And I recently read an article that was stating that Amir Khan he's eyeing a rematch with Danny Garcia. They're hoping to do it by the fall. Apparently, Khan's people want him to fight in April, and then possibly rematch Garcia in October, Decemberish. And let me start off by saying I give Amir Khan props for going after the challenge. Like anybody who can get TKO'd by a fighter and they're willing to rematch and they want to rematch and he's not scared. And for the most part, I feel Amir Khan has taken some tough fights like Marcos Maidana. That wasn't an easy fight. Um, and he takes fights on people on win streaks generally, that kind of thing. So props to Amir Khan for having balls to continue fighting. Even after he got knocked down in the Garcia fight, he still got back up and attempted to fight. However, one thing that I do not like in the sport of boxing currently is boxing is a business, and I realize that, but it's such a business where I feel certain fighters get avoided, certain fights aren't made because of money. You know what I mean? Obviously, Khan has a huge fan base from the UK and just probably all around. Um, Danny Garcia is the current champion, and his star power is growing. I get that, so it would be a big money fight. We all love rematches, especially when one ended in a TKO fashion. However, I still am from the old school when I think like we still as fans want to see fresh matches. We want to see fresh matches being made, and it reminds me of the Step Brothers. If you've seen that movie with Will Ferrell and John C. Riley, um, when they're walking home, and Will Ferrell tells him like, "Hey, let's not go this way," or one of them tells him, he said, "Let's not go this way," and he's like, "Why not?" And he's like, "Cause Chris Gardocki." So they try to take a shortcut to avoid encountering the Chris Gardocki who makes him eat the white dog poop. If you guys have seen that movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I feel that same scenario is what plays out in boxing time and time again. Um, you have these promoters or trainers or camps or whoever's making these fights, and they're always trying to take the shortcut. Like just let's just avoid this problem all the way. And usually it's in my opinion it's based on greed and money. And there's plenty of fights that the boxing fans would much rather see fresh matchups, but we're gonna see fights like Mayweather, or excuse me, we're gonna see fights like Pacquiao versus Marquez, 5 or 8, because we know that Marquez has a huge Mexican following, Pacquiao has a huge Filipino following. Not to say that their 4 fights previously didn't have excitement, but it's just like okay, how many times do we have to see that? Like how many times do we have to pay $59.95 to see the same two guys fighting? Last fight with the Marquez 4 and Pacquiao 4, I streamed that online because I refused to see it. It just so happened that it ended. It was a great fight, and it ended in a shocking way. So, I mean, it was worth it. But I just see this too often in boxing. Like, there's people like Amir Khan and Danny Garcia. I'm gonna watch it, obviously. Why wouldn't I watch it? But there's other fights that could and should be made. I mean, barring the fact that Top Rank doesn't get along with Golden Boy, yada yada yada. There's other fights for the sport of boxing that I feel should be made. And as far as Amir Khan, him fighting Carlos Molina, bringing a guy up from 135 to 140 who's slow just because he was undefeated. I said this in a previous video. That's not impressive to me. I'm not really impressed. I can't say, oh, this is 100% different Amir Khan. Virgil Hunter just turned him into a reformed fighter. I can't say any of that because Carlos Molina wasn't able to bring, or he doesn't have the punching power to put Amir Khan into uh, fight or flight mode to the point where he would even be like um, have to make an adjustment or would even he couldn't put that much pressure on him. Amir Khan's much faster, much rangier, taller, more powerful, etc. So I need to see Amir Khan in my eyes. I need to see him pitted against somebody who has the ability to not just a puncher's chance, but who has the ability to to complicate matters And then if he can make those adjustments with Virgil Hunter and win the fight, then I would be sold. But I don't think that he has that. I don't think that's what we're gonna see. So I just hope when Amir Khan fights in April, if they do go the route of fighting Garcia in the fall and fighting another opponent in April, I just hope that whoever they pick in April is a formidable opponent. Um, like even Garcia is the belt holder. He owns the title. So even if they made it Amir Khan versus Lucas Matisse, why don't they fight? They fight and the winner gets Garcia. That's fair to me. Um, if Amir Khan, I would give him points or credit if he fights a Jose and beats him in the same fashion that he beat Carlos Molina. There's a slew of different fighters. If he can do that to Brandon Rios, or even possibly Mike Alvarado, I would be more impressed. But as far as Carlos Molina, doesn't really impress me. I can't say that this is a reformed fighter. He's so much different than he was in the past. He doesn't have a glass chin. I can't say any of those things. That's like if let's say I went to jail for robbery and stealing. I was a klepto. I always steal, and then I get out of jail and I'm living with you and I'm living in your home and I don't steal for a week. I mean, are you gonna say, oh, he's a completely different person just because I haven't like made a move or done anything, any other crime or criminal activities within a week? I don't know. So to me, as far as Amir Khan, it's too early to tell. And the opponent that was put in front of him was just a confidence builder, which was Carlos Molina, a guy who was undefeated, so it looks fine and dandy. But nowadays in the sport of boxing, undefeated fighters doesn't necessarily mean anything. You know what I mean? You could fight 40 plus guys like Canelo. Canelo's undefeated, but we still don't know how he would look against someone like an Austin Trout, who's like at the top. You know what I mean? The top tier of the 154-pound division. He'd be like one of the top three guys. So that's my point. Undefeated doesn't necessarily mean anything these days. So bringing up a guy from a smaller weight division and destroying him, that's kind of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do that. If it was anything different, then that would be an upset. Like Josecito versus Victor Ortiz, everybody counted Josecito out. So the fact that he broke Ortiz's jaw and won that fight, that's why we're shocked. That's why it's such a shocking upset. But if you had Vitaly Klitschko and then he brought up someone from a smaller division or a cruiserweight or something, and Klitschko destroyed him, are you gonna give him props? Are you gonna be like, oh man, Klitschko's that dude? No, you're probably not. You're gonna be like, that's what you're supposed to do. Um, Germaine Taylor actually, he brought up somebody in his last fight. We all know Germaine Taylor has his issues with stamina issues, like mentally, in my opinion. And he brought up a guy and he knocked him out, and it was a devastating knockout. But can I say the same Germaine Taylor that got knocked out late in the fight after he was giving Carl Froch problems, and the same fighter got knocked out by Abram? Can I say, oh, Germaine Taylor's back? He's back because he had a brutal knockout? No, I can't, because that's what you're supposed to do. You fought. I don't even remember his opponent, but it was his very last opponent that I believe that he fought. Germaine Taylor knocked him out, and it was a vicious knockout. But I can't give him props and say he's back and you know what I mean, he needs to fight Andre Ward or Kelly Pavlik again, or I can't say these things because you have more to prove, and that's where I feel with Amir Khan. Um, that's cool. You fought Carlos Molina, you beat him convincingly, you stopped him, but that doesn't prove anything. That, if anything, that's just for your sake to get your confidence back and get you back in the ring after a TKO loss. So let me know what you guys think. Amir Khan versus Danny Garcia. What fights do you want to see made at 140? Like I said, I would just prefer to see something fresh, or at least if the money fight is Amir Khan versus Danny Garcia, make Amir Khan, who is not the champion, and who has back-to-back losses. Well, he had back-to-back losses, then he won one. But make him work for a shot at what's his name, Danny Garcia. Like even Zab Judah is coming off a win against Paris. So I mean, he's coming off a win. Now he's fighting Danny Garcia. Um, does he deserve a title shot? I mean, that could be argued, but at the same time, Zab Judah has a big name in the sport, and usually if you have a extensive resume and you fought the best and you're coming off a win, usually that could bring you into contention to a big money fight. Same thing with Shane Mosley, and those were off losses, but he got the Canelo fight. Did Shane Mosley deserve a Canelo fight at the point in which he fought Canelo? No, because he lost to Mayweather, had a draw with Sergio Mora, and then he lost to Pacquiao. So why should he have fought Canelo? But again, based on his resume, they know they can do some numbers with that just because Shane Mosley has a resume and a name in the sport. So that's my thought. Like I said, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Who should Amir Khan fight next? Who would you like to see him fight? Hate, comment, or subscribe, or do all that. Till next video. Ego signing off.